So here you can see me continuing work on my burger, and I've already added a lot of details to this. I jumped ahead and went to the sides. So here you can see the drink, and because I'm looking at this from above, I want to have my drink from an aerial perspective. So that is just an added challenge. Think about what your drink's going to be. Mine is just soda in a cup. Right now it could be coffee, anything, because it's just solid brown, so I need to add a little bit more. The straw itself, though, does help show that it would be soda, because you wouldn't necessarily have a straw coming from a cup of coffee. But if it was a coffee mug or tea, then maybe I would have the handle. Then I have mozzarella sticks for my side, and I went above and beyond and added a thing of sauce to go with my mozzarella sticks. But the sauce, I could add more detail and probably add a little bit of shade, a little bit of texture to make it look more like marinara sauce. So when you're doing textures, when you're in Photoshop, as you can see I'm in Photoshop, not Photopea, you can easily add textures. So we learned about the pattern stamp. So underneath the clone stamp is the pattern stamp, and then you can use any of these stamps and add some texture. So what I'm going to do is make a new layer, stamp my texture. I'm going to make it smaller so it's about the same size and I don't have to do as much erasing. And I just picked a random one, so I'm lining it up and I'm going to hit stamp, and then you can see it laid over. And then what I can do is change the opacity of this and the blend mode to see what it does. So by changing the blend mode, it will actually take layer 1, the pattern I stamped, and blend it on top of the sauce layer, so you can see it adds a texture to it. So then what I'm going to do is erase the extra on the edges so that it looks a little smoother. So I'm on layer 1, I've got my eraser, and I'm just going to go gently around, erasing it off of the container, and maybe if it hit the mozzarella sticks. But that is just an easy way to add a little bit of texture, a little bit of added realism. Oops, I went a little too far, so I'm just going to undo and fix that. Now, if you're in Photopea and you don't have access to Photoshop, the way that you can do that is by using your fill can. So let me do that again. So I'm going to make a new layer. And what you can do is stamp a circle first, because you need to have the same size. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the red. And I'm just going to go quick here. So it's about the same size. There's the red. And then the selection tool, the object selection tool, quick selection tool, sorry. You're going to grab your circle, and then you can fill in with a pattern. So I'm going to go, I'm on layer 2, okay? And then there is a pattern overlay option as well. You can fill with a pattern. Oops, let me show you that first, sorry. Fill with a pattern. Okay, and you can choose it here, or you can use the pattern overlay. Okay, so there's 2 different ways to do it if you're not in Photoshop. And then I would again choose any of the patterns. I really liked that first one I picked, but let's try a different one. Again, this is a process of trial and error because you have to see what the texture looks like. And then I'm going to go ahead and change the blend mode. Let's try darken again and see what that does. And again, if it doesn't work, you can always go try the other option. So I can do the pattern overlay and delete. Let me do this again. New layer, stamp, okay, pattern, fill, and then I filled it on the same layer, but again, that's how I can darken it. So then you can see that texture.